يلا بينا.
Welcome everybody to this beautiful interview with my guest Bassem Ramadan, an Egyptian percussionist from Cairo. We met a long ago in Cairo when I was recording my Majansé and other musical pieces in a studio in Cairo. And since then, we have developed our own careers. I have grown my career. Bassem has developed his own career in different sides of the world. And finally, we meet again for a project online for my school. And I'm very, very proud to have you collaborating with me, Bassem. And this interview is to show the world a little bit more about you. Who are you? How you grew up? What are your biggest influences in terms of Egyptian music, not only percussion, but Egyptian music? How did you learn how to play the percussion? How did you fall in love with the percussion? And who are your influences or your idols, if you have some? So let's start from the beginning. First of all, welcome, ahlan wa sahlan. And I will ask you, Bassem, to tell us a little bit about who you are as an artist and what are you doing these days professionally. Tell us about you.
Morning for everybody. Hey, I'm Bassem Ramadan, Egyptian musician, Egyptian percussionist from Cairo, Egypt, from the center of Egypt, center of Cairo, من وسط البلد, Sayeda Zeinab. I have 48 years old, so I'm just old. So I'm from center from Egypt, from Cairo, very near for Shara Muhammad Ali Street and the downtown. And looks like any Egyptian. I like the music because music in our life in the street, you can hear percussion for the everybody. He buy something, he sells something, he is singing or he play in tabla or darbuka. He play in tabla or darbuka for everybody. He can know him when he is in the department to buy. So I'd like percussion from my I'm child. In the school I play bongos and Marrakesh, something like this in the school in the morning, and I live very near for Muhammad Ali Street. So I saw Yom El Khamis, Thursday or Friday, the musicians and the dancers. Something very interesting for me. So I'd like to play percussion from young, something like 10 years old. I started to play bongas and I play drums in the school. And then I'd like to play like a professional. When I go to some party, just I sit in the stage or very near the stage. I don't go to any lugar, anywhere in the parties, just in the stage to be very near for the musician. Just a session here, like this. Yeah. And I'd like the drums and tabla and conga. And this time, we have the music in Egypt, and it was Abdul Halim Hafiz and Tahaya Karyoka, Abdul Wahab. And this time, I'd like percussionist like Ibrahim Tawfiq. Ibrahim Tawfiq is the brother of Samiha Tawfiq, the dancer. He play, I think somebody he knows, he play every type of percussion, but he's famous when he plays Sagat with Omar Khorshid. Yeah, it's Ibrahim Tawfiq. I saw Ibrahim Tawfiq when he play with Samir Sabri show in Egypt. He play everything. He play tabla, drums, conga, sagat, everything. He don't has any problem. And also Zaki Karyoka. Zaki Karyoka, he play conga, drums, tabla, percussion, and he play with Naima Akif and also Tahaya Karyoka. And from this moment, I'd like percussion. and I feel percussion in my blood also. All of my friends, he hate me because in everywhere I play, in the school, in the car, I see. In this time, I have something like 50 years old. My friend in Egypt named me for Bassem Ramadan because every time I play percussion. And I started to play with the band in this time in Egypt. If you like to start to play music or work in the music, you have to training a lot with your band and in the party of Farah, that's feast for the wedding in Egypt. So I started to play with the band. I play percussion like these guys, Ibrahim Tawfi, Zaki Karuka. I'd like to play everything of percussion: conga, timbal, bonges, cajon, everything. Because that I traveled for Latin America also, for Latin percussion, and then I start to present my culture in Latin America. So I start with the band. For a long time, my family, I can't tell my family I play music like a musician. You're going to kill me. Yeah, I'm in the school. I can take the classes to music, but I can't play music like a musician. So if we, as a big secret, I play music, and there's nobody knows where you go. I'm going to study with my guys, okay? But one day, my aunt, he saw me when I play music in the stage. So it's a big problem in the home. Because that I prefer to play music than just studying in the school.
Bassem, what happened when your family discovered that you were working professionally?
I left the home.
What did they tell you?
Yeah, I live in Pyramid Street. Yeah, okay. I have 15 years old, and I play with Ibrahim Abdel Qadir. He's a famous singer in this time. And then I play with Ali Hamida. I live in Haram Street, in Pyramid Street. You know, Pyramid Street is a lot of nightclubs and a lot of musicians from other country, from other place, no, from Cairo, but they live in Pyramid Street to be near the nightclubs. So all of the coffee shop, بالقهوة, musicians, and I'm going to live with two guys from Skindria and the other guy from Al Said, but it's near my home. But just because I'm a musician and my family refused, I go to work as a musician and left my school. Because that I stay in the high school 7 years. 7 years in the high school, 7 سنين في المدرسة, and then in the university. But I left my home, and then I take it como a professional. I'm going to the Syndicate of Egypt, and then he make for me exam. You know, in Egypt you can't play music and you can work if you don't have a card from Syndicate. You are membership to can play or can work. And I live with the musician, the life of musician in Egypt with percussion. You have to play everything, all of the style.
Yeah, Bassem, 1 second. Just explaining people what you're talking about is the syndicate of the musicians. In order to work as a professional musician in Cairo, you have to be in the syndicate of musicians. You need to be there. You need to have like a subscription there. That's what you call it in English. It's the syndicate. Hawada. Yeah, exactly. But let me take you a little bit back, because you are already advancing towards your career and the people you worked with. But I'm interested in Sayeda Zeinab, and I'm interested in Muhammad Ali, because these are two places, very special places in Egypt, especially for dancers. I can tell you, Sayeda Zeinab is my favorite place in the whole world. I never told you this because I didn't even know you were from Sayeda Zeinab. I had no idea. But all the time I was living in Egypt, Sayeda Zeinab was my favorite neighborhood. I go to the Mulid of Sayeda Zeinab.
Seriously, you know Sayeda Zeinab? Bassem Maradona is from Sayeda Zeinab.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
That I know, of course. I know. I know. And when a musician comes from this specific place, it means a lot that foreigners don't know, because this is a very old neighborhood, very traditional neighborhood. It's in the old Cairo, old part of the town. It is a
It's
neighborhood
all
where
Cairo,
you
yeah.
breed the culture. You breed the culture. It's not modern. It's not westernized. It is purely Egyptian. And also Muhammad Ali. It's close from Muhammad Ali, Shari Muhammad Ali, which is, as you know, super important for dances. Super, super important. So I want you to tell us a little bit more about how it was growing up in that particular part of Cairo. What kind of contact did you have with music in the street, in the coffee shops? What kind of dancers and musicians you saw on television at that time? What did it mean to grow up in Sayeda Zeinab and so close from Muhammad Ali? Tell us a little bit more
Okay.
about that time.
What's meaning the life in Sayeda Zainab? What's mean one day in Sayeda Zainab from
Yes,
the morning
yes,
at the night? Okay.
yes.
I said something, but just small for Sayeda Zainab. Everyone he sing. Everyone. If someone he bake bread, he say "Leish." Yeah. In the morning, you know الراجل بتاع الفول beans. He singing for the fool. Yeah. And the first you listen in the radio. يا صباح الخير يا اللي معانا يا اللي معانا canción de Um Kalsum diciendo para ti صباح الخير. Ahí de esta, okay, so 48. From in this time, we know what is the time now from the radio. Not from the hour, from the 6 o'clock at 7:30. And you start to go to school. So the start with Umm Kalsum صباح الخير يا اللي معانا. And then we're going to hear الفول العيش. Everyone he sing. Yeah. And then to mama, he knocks the door for you. Your mother. Yeah. Everything in the life is percussion. And then you going to inside the bathroom, but your father or your brother in the bathroom. Also, too, you going to play in the door como معصوم وملفوف or everything. For يلا خلص así como ya rápido salga. Así es la vida. This is the life with us. So then you're going to the school. السلام السلام عليكم صباح الفل كله is percussion with us. Everything is percussion. And then you're going to the school. And this time you can't hear mahraganat. There is no mahraganat. Just you can hear Umm Kalsum, Muhammad Fawzi, everything. You're going to the school. I start with salute the flag. And I play the snare drum in this time. Start the classes and everything. We going left the school, and then I have to walk in حلمية الجديدة. الحلمية الجديدة entre السيدة زينب بشارع محمد علي. Yeah, it's between Muhammad Ali شارع السيدة زينب in the old Cairo. So when you walk, you have to see all of the shop for Muhammad Ali, for the instrument, tabla, duf, everything. But in this time in the morning, just he sold out his product, his instrument in the street. But if you are in the night, you can see the musician in the coffee and the dancer. He came from the village, from the country to work in Egypt, especially Al-Khamis, Al-Gum'ah, Al-Hajj. You know that. A lot of work is 6 days. The weekend, and so you saw everything, and sometimes you hear Ahmed Adawiya or Abdel Basit Hamouda or Hassan Lasmar. This is the Shabi in this time. This is you can't hear it in the TV, but it's a real music. Very good musicians. And then you go to the home. with your friend, everyone, I'm sorry, everyone in Egypt from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock, everyone he listened to Kalsoum. You if you want to listen to Kalsoum or no, you're going to listen to Kalsoum. Why? Why? Because Kalsoum in everywhere, in every shops, in every car, in every taxi. In this time, everyone radio Kalsoum. See, if we are in the weekend, El Khamis, there is a farah. Farah is a wedding. So I'm from Sayeda Zeinab. So you can see Zaffa. You can see también اسبوع الحنة. الحنة, no الحنة for the hair or for the man for hand. الحنة is just 1 week when he prepare everything for the home, for the wedding, the girls and the bride. He going to singing on rhythm الفلاحي. In Halla, in something, in everything he can play the music. It's not necessary to be in tabla. In everything he can go in and then improvise for the situation, means the same situation with the girls. And then زي فرح, we're going to show 2 bands. Zaffa في الشارع, in the street, a lot of percussionists and maximum trumpet, saxophone, all of them he's singing with the public, and he walking, all of them walking in the street and play percussion, a lot of percussion. And then you can go see فرقة شرقي or band. In this time band in 1980. باند او فرقه شرقي. الشرقي شارع محمد علي ستريت، بلانكو نيجرو، بلاك اند وايت، تاكسي الكايرو، shirt, white shirt and black trousers. So this is all of the Shari guys in this style. What means Shari guys? Shari, accordion, عود، قانون، طبلة، ضف، مظهر، الفيولين، الكمانجا، انترلازو. In Shari غربي, there is no problem. But in this time, just in this time, we're going to change the Egyptian music. تصير موسيقى شبابي، مزيكا شبابية. Music for the young people, something like this. So we're going to play with the band. And the time before that, the band just play European music, a light music Arabic, like Muhammad Munir, Iman al-Bahr Darwish, something like this. But before that, in all of the composers, we're going to play the music, Oriental music, but in other form. الفورم الشبابي band mass band and solos from Oriental music. So the song has a everyone has a band. The band drums, keyboard, bass guitar, lead guitar, and tabla, and one dof. You see, if I have in my song as a singer solo accordion or solo kawala, I'm going to go to I have to in my band as the same musician. Why? Because the people or the guest, he listen for my music, he know here is accordion, so he can see it. So we're going to change the style of Egyptian music, the Oriental classic. التخت الشرقي الشبابي. In this time, I'm going to play with Ali Hamida Lulaki. In this time, he's a very famous. And then Ibrahim Abdel Qadir. I play percussion in this time. I don't play tabla, because in tabla in this time, everyone he play tabla. Percussion, I think we come something like seven persons. He going to play percussion in Egypt. Just 7-8 persons.
What do you mean
But
percussion and
everyone,
tabla?
percussion this time in Egypt, it's mean conga, timbal, cajon, soft percussion, everything for percussion. Because I like much more the music for Abdul Halim Hafiz. Like when Zaki Karaoke, he plays the drums, and then I play Ma'soom, and then playing Marrakesh, he dancing. I like it so much. And everybody.
Bassem, let me make a note here. You're talking about something that also creates a lot of confusion for dancers who are studying Egyptian dance nowadays, which is they don't really know the difference between the Egyptian percussion and Western percussion. So what I think you're talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm not understanding you correctly, is at the time there was a separation between foreign percussion like the maracas, los timbales, all of these mostly Latin American influences, and the traditional Egyptian percussion. Is that what you're telling us about?
Yeah, for sure, there is no problem. Yeah, so we have a tabla. The tabla is popular instrument. You know that the tabla, you can't study tabla in the Arab University or cualquier institute of the music. Yeah, but re, yeah, الدف سي الرق الدف البونجز البونجوز. So we're going to see Kalsoum without tabla in the beginning. Kalsoum Kombonges, Idof, Ire. And then Mahmoud Hamouda, you're going to play tabla. Yeah? And we're going to listen to a lot of music for Nagwa Fuad just with bonges, without tabla. Tabla is a popular in this time with Sha'bi, in the street, with Ghawazi. Yeah? And we have with Muhammad Abdul Wahab, Ibalih Hamdi, we're going to hear rhythms, not Egyptian rhythm. Looks like Karachi, looks like El Fox, El Jerk, El Samba, rhythm for fusion, with drums. We're going to see with Abdul Halim El Marrakesh and the conga in nuestra own music. You looks like any Egyptian, you don't know, in percussion, you are a professional, you don't know. الجرك السامبا الرومبا اتمختري وتميلي يا خير تحية ليلى مراد. You don't know, is this our rhythms or from other way? But you listened from this music a lot of time, and you feel it's your music in your blood. You don't have any problem with this rhythm. And also we are from Africa, so we have a connection with the music from Nuba and the Sudan. Nuba, Sudan, the difference in the scala, in the scalas de musical, Nubio, el Sudani, he don't go his music with tabla. He play with bandir and bonges and the conga. And we are in community with Sudan for a long time. The Sudanese people looks like nosotros, us. There is no problem. So from Muhammad Abdul Wahab, Balih Hamdi, Riyad al-Sumbati, when he going to make أنا قلبي دليلي دي ليلى مراد vals, قلبي دليلي. Yeah, we're going to listen this rhythm in our music. In our music, the Egyptian percussionist, he don't go play vals in el tabla. Because that you have in your band in Egypt also drummer and the drums. Because we have a specialist. When I play drums, I don't go play anything with el wahda al kibir, just el dum, boom. I have to respect the instrument. I have to respect the sound for everything. Okay. So in this time we have el shar'i, blanco and black and white. In that they play instrument shar'i, Masri, accordion, clarinet بيلعب شرقي. He don't go to play hello and música أوروبية. No, just شرقي, just عوالم شارع محمد علي وفرقة بلدي in the same time. عوالم أو فرقة بلدي. the other times ياما band غربي. Band como banda. غربي occidental. The band غربي, he play in the club for the wedding, the same wedding. But we're going to start the music for the slow music, for the dance, for the novios. And then Mohammed Abdel Wahab, una canción de Saad Abdel Wahab, una canción de Mohammed Fawzi Light. Y después, and then he going to now Joana Saahirah. Joana Saahirah, Oriental dancer. All of his band, Oriental classic. In your time, because después he going to mix more, and then he going to mix in your time, in your band, bandir for El Khaligi. Because we going, it's commercial. They depend on the market in this time. From this time also, a lot of money in golf. So we're going to play music Khaligi. In this time, just we have just one reason Khaligi, El Bayo, and just 2 songs. ابعادي كنتم ولا قريبين ابعادك انتم ولا قريبين جاني الاسمر جاني ريتمو البايو. You know, sabemos nada más, but we have to place that because we have a lot of guests from Arabia Saudita and Kuwait and everywhere.
Bassem, let me add something here. You just said something very important. 3 names that then again, a lot of Oriental dancers don't know. They don't know the work of these musicians in depth, and they were the responsible for the modernization of Egyptian music, not only the introduction of Western percussion, but other Westernization add-ons or improvements or changes. And that was Mohammed Abdul Wahab, which everybody should know. I consider Mohammed Abdul Wahab the biggest musical genius of the 20th century. For me, Khalis, not from Egypt, from the world. Mohammed Abdul Wahab was a genius. And he was responsible for this modernization, for this evolution of the music, Egyptian music. Then you mentioned Baligh Hamdi, also very important, and so many dancers don't know Baligh Hamdi. I get crazy when I see this, but it is true. And also Abdul Halim Hafiz. Of course, Abdul Halim is a little bit more well-known, but also a lot of dancers don't know that these 3 musicians that you mentioned, musicians and composers, because Abdul Wahab and Baligh Hamdi were great composers, they were the responsible for the evolution of Egyptian music as we know it. They were not just the responsible for new Western Latin rhythms coming into the music. Abdul Wahab introduced the bass guitar, for instance, which is something I don't like. I personally don't like to hear bass guitar in Sharqi. I don't like it. But he introduced the saxophone. He introduced other elements that really pull Egyptian music into the future. And my note here is for all the dancers who are listening to us to search for these names. You know, who was Mohammed Abdul Wahab? He composed for whom, aside from Kulthum? What is his own work? Because Abdul Wahab had his own repertoire. He did not only compose for other singers. He was also a singer, not very good one, not very good singer. I think he was a great composer, not a very good singer, but and an actor as well. And
who is Mohammed Abdul Wahab? Mohammed Abdul Wahab is very great singer, but maybe not everyone he like him when he sing, like me. But when he sing, many singers he can't sing looks like him. So he's simply away from his songs because it's very difficult.
You know, I worked with Mahmoud Reda. All the years I was performing in Cairo, I worked with Mahmoud Reda as well. I was assisting him in teaching and choreography, and he was my dearest friend, my dearest everything, my grandfather, really. And one of the discussions we had more often, more frequently, was he loved Abdul Wahab's voice, and I hated it. So we listened to Abdul Wahab, and I say, Mahmoud, how can you like his voice? I don't like his voice. Of course, he knows how to sing, but I don't like the tone I don't like. It doesn't feel good in my ear. And Mahmoud loved him so much, so much. So he was always trying to convince me, look how beautiful he sings. I said, no, no, I don't like it. I could never like it. You know, I listened to Muhammad Abdul Wahab so much, so much, so much, even for work, mostly for work, but I never warmed up to his voice. Unlike Kulthum, which for me is my Habibti. Kulthum for me is like, you know, I breathe Kulthum. I cry when I listen to her voice. I cry immediately. I go, oh my God, this is the best singer who ever lived. Whoever lived for me, Kulthum is #1 singer who ever lived in the history of music. I don't know any singer above her, you know. And it's very funny because so many Egyptians love Abdul Wahab's voice, and I don't. I just don't. But that's a personal taste, you know.
We love Abdul Wahab not just for he's a singer, and we hate Abdul Wahab like an actor, but we love Abdul Wahab because all of this music for Abdul Wahab. أم كلثوم السلام الوطني بلادي بلادي toda la música de Abdul Wahab, all of the music of Abdul Wahab, he lived with us. Maybe we don't know the name of the song from Umm Kulthum or Abdul Wahab, but you like it a lot. You know something, Jody? All of us hate Umm Kulthum when we are young in Egypt, because you hear it in everywhere. The song is a very, very long. But then when you are a grown up, you can understand what he said and the music and everything. Yeah.
Taban. You know, I usually tell my students this little story because it's so important for people to understand. When he composed for Kulthum, Abdul Wahab, he composed because Abdul Nasser asked him to. I don't know if you know this. You must know that. They didn't like each other because they were two big names in the history of Egyptian music. Kulthum and Abdul Wahab. Kulthum was the head of the syndicate of the musicians for a long time, actually. And she was like the ma'alema, the big boss of every musician in Egypt. And Kulthum and Abdul Wahab, they, you know.
Yeah. For a long time, he don't go to work together, and he's a problem. And when he going to work together for the first time in Egypt, they said لقاء السحاب. لقاء السحاب is looks like the union, the wind, or the cielo, la junta del cielo. So the very biggest artist in all of the Medio Orient, we're going to work together. I think the first song is Enta Umri. And then he going to go الحب كله. الحب كله when we going السلطنة المزاج guitar. عمر خورشيد haciendo السلطنة de أم كلثوم en el guitar. He also ألف ليلة وليلة. He going to a lot of songs together. بليغ حمدي also was أم كلثوم, a very famous songs. And you talked about Abdul Halim Hafiz. Abdul Halim Hafiz, when we're going to speak about the Egyptian classic music, Kulthum, one kind of classic music, but classic music, como orchestra clásica, is Abdul Halim Hafiz. Orchestra clásica, música clásica egipcia, no es copia de música europea. Las películas, the movies, the old movies, looks like Shara al-Hub, the Street of Love for Abdul Halim Hafiz, and فرقة حسب الله when we're going to present شارع محمد علي, نجوى فؤاد in the first time in the Egyptian TV. We're going to hear and listen what's mean Egyptian classic music in all of the movie, not just the songs, and the music for the movie also was the grand composer. I'm sorry, the bigger composer in this time, Andrea Ryder. يا عزت الجهلي يا علي اسماعيل. علي اسماعيل is the composer of all of the music from Mahmoud Reda, you know.
I know. I fell in love with Ali Ismail very early on when I moved to Egypt because Mahmoud made me listen to his music, and he told me so many stories about Ali Ismail. So he loved him very much, by the way. Mahmoud was very close to Ali Ismail. And he told me personally many times there was no Reda troupe. without Ali Ismail. Mahmoud told me
We
that.
love Ali Ismail. Any Egyptian love Ali Ismail. الأقصر بلدنا، الصعيدي، الفلاحي، علي إسماعيل como Tutankhamun. Everything it looks like Tutankhamun for me or for Ramses. Everything he do, he going to leave a lot for everyone, and every Egyptian he going to very proud and honored for the music for Ali Ismail, because he present us very well.
Yes, it is really the soul, the soul. I used to sit with Mahmoud Reda at his studio في الوسط البلد في القصر النيل, and he would use all the tapes of music.
There is no studio from the 6 months.
I know. Very sadly, I know. But we used to sit and he would show me Ali Ismail music in old bobbins, you know, these old tapes. We would sit in the studio and just listen, and he would tell me stories about Ali Ismail and how he composed this and how it was created, for what show, for what movie. He told me everything about Ali Ismail, and it is really another genius, not so well known perhaps, unfortunately, but he should be well known. Now, let's move forward because we would not stop.
For sure.
Tell us about the moment when you knew you were going to play percussion professionally, that you're sure this is going to be your future. Was there a moment, a particular occasion, a particular time when you had to tell your family, guys, ya jamaa, this is what I'm gonna do. This is my profession. This is my future. Was there a moment when you took this decision?
I'm 15 years old. I left my home to play percussion and left my family to be a musician, like a musician in Egypt. In this moment, I'm going to be a professional. I bleed from the musician, the music in Egypt.
At
15 years old.
Bassem, 15? That's very early.
See,
did you live by yourself?
No, in Egypt, not slow. No, in Egypt, no. I started 2 years later.
No,
play with band, but he don't pay for me. 2 years I play
I don't mean early
without money.
To start playing tabla. I mean early to leave your family home. That's what I mean. Where did you live at 15 years old if you were not?
I told you I live in Pyramid Street. I live in Pyramid Street. You know Pyramid Street.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of groups, a lot of bands. So you have a lot of migration from Egypt, the same Egypt, from Iskandria, from Said. So we working together and we waiting in the morning together in the cafe for payment, and I pay for them to share with them one apartment to be in the life of musician. My family, he refused. He don't accept to be a musician. Looks like musician in the street. No, you have to finish your study, and then when you are outside the home, you can do what you want. So I left the home to I can do what I want. What I want is the music. So I start to play as a professional. As a professional, what's mean? My money from music, I live for the money when I play music. That's me, professional in Egypt. So from 15 years old, it's my profession, and it's not too young in Egypt. Because
I know. Not for
friends in Egypt, the musician from Iskandria, the same age, and he live in Cairo also.
Yeah.
So you can see this. It's not just a stranger. I left my home to play music.
No,
it's for me a stranger because I live in the same street, but my family he don't accept.
Yeah, as you know, I worked with, for me, of course, the best musicians in Cairo, the best. And I know all of them started very early.
Joana, you are fashion in your time in Egypt. So you have to be with the best musician for belly dance in this time.
Mm-hmm. What I mean is, obviously, I know musicians start very early. I know that very well. 15 years old is not early to start as a musician. What I mean is, I find it not very common for a kid, a 15-year-old kid, to leave his parents' home. And that's what I find early. That's what I find odd. And that's what I find amazing. I mean, you must have been completely in love with percussion in order to leave your family home and to, you know, to at 15 years old, to survive with your own money, with your own work, to live with another musicians away from your mom, from your dad. That's what I mean. I find it very, very early, you know, and also amazing. And
when you have a target, everything is easy.
okay.
When you like what you want, everything is easy. And you're going to be very comfortable when you don't have money for eating, but you're going to jamming with your guys' music. There is no problem, because I like that I don't care about anything. Because this moment, I'm so happy, and I have a good energy to continue my life. So, and now, thanks God, Alhamdulillah, everything is very good. I don't have any problem. I'll never say, why I do that. No, I'm so happy what I am now. I don't have any problem. I like the music. I like my life. I like the music.
Tell me one thing then. So from that point on, you started to live with other musicians, في شارع الهرم, one of the most well-known and also the busiest streets in Cairo. For anyone who has visited Cairo, you will know it's the big, long street that takes you to Giza pyramids. It's full of nightclubs, restaurants, shops. It's zahma. It's traffic 24 hours per day. It's really crazy street. And from this point, you started to work and you started to live 24 hours with other musicians. Was there someone in particular that you looked up to, a particular musician, a mentor, a teacher, someone that you learned from, someone that guided you, someone that helped you, or were you just working and observing and learning from everybody?
Very good questions. And this time, you know, there is internet. There is no internet. You can't learn about something. We don't have a school to music in Egypt. But when I'm starting in the school and secondary school, in the primary school, when I'm going to the lesson for the music, I take the music and I play music with them. Yeah, but then I told you, I have to be in the conservatoire or معهد الموسيقى العربية. And then I'm going to play music. I have a friend in the same age, but he don't study in the school. He study in the conservatoire. I'm going to my family and I said for them, I'd like to be in the conservatoire or معهد الموسيقى العربية. I'd like to study music. You are crazy guy. You have to finish your study. You can do anything. أجل clown. As you like, if you like to be clown, okay, but you have to study and finish your faculty. So what I have to do, my family not from Shara Muhammad Ali, my family not son artist. My mom and my dad is a military, in the army, and my mom he's employed in una company in Egypt. So he can't accept I work as a musician. You know, in this time, الصبي علمة هتشتغل بتاع رقصات. You know that, and you can't so for you go your home with the uniform and with an instrument. So in this time, I live in sector Faisal, فوق المنوفي, in the same street principal for Faisal. So with the guy, he is the guard for our home. I always left my instrument to go and work with anybody. I'm going with my friend, and then for 2 years, because I start for 14 years old, play music with band. I'm going to the Zaffa group. And why Zaffa group? Because before that, just I play music in the school and in my home. I'd like to play with musicians. I don't care if they're going to pay for me or not. Because that I think I work the first 2 years without any money. I pay my taxi. I'm going to for Shara Muhammad Ali or anywhere to rent an instrument for the day, because I don't have drums in this time. I don't have all of my instrument because it's not my profession. My dad and my mom, he going to me money for the school, but I spend this money in the music. It's very strong, but really, I told you, when you like to do something, is other feeling. I remember the first time in my life going to nightclub. This nightclub is in Arizona. In Arizona, I have 15 years old with Mimi Itabal. I can remember to this day the name of him. Mimi is El Tabbal. He was a singer. He saw you. He saw me very kid, and he called him Ta'ala, 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 Ta'ala. Who's him? He's a very child. Oh, he can play music with us in nightclub. The same you said. How you, as a kid in nightclub, was everything. In this time, a lot of money, a lot of dancer, everything. But it's other life. In this time, you know, you don't see the whiskeys as girl. No. It's just see the music. This lugar. I'm here in Arizona. I hear one day Kulthum, he's singing there, and Warda. I'm in the same place. I can't believe. You in this time you live without anything. There's no important money. Is important never. And in this time you have a lot of money from music. We work a lot in this time. El kid, mucho, a lot in this time. You know. Yeah, thanks a lot, because I talk from my heart now. I remember very good memories for me.
So in Mimil Tabal, he asked about you, and then what happened? Was Mimil Tabal a good influence, a strong influence for you? Was there a specific tabal, a specific percussionist that you inspired to be like, that you copied, that you followed, that you learned from? Or were you just a free agent? You're learning from everybody. Because I tell you, for me in dance, there were certain dancers that marked my way, okay? Even before I moved to Egypt, I was already going to Egypt very early on, very young, to study. I studied with Suher Zaki privately. This was big awakening for me. I understand what is Raqs Sharki from Suher Zaki, from watching her dance in front of me. I studied with Nagwa Fouad. I studied with Mona Saeed, Azza Sharif, Mahmoud Reda Taban for many years when I moved to Egypt. Mahmoud was when I was already working in Egypt. And I can tell you very well why these people were so important for my education as an Oriental dancer. They changed me, and they shaped the way I see Oriental dance. So my question for you is there someone or more than one musician that you say, this was like Mudaris, this was my big teacher, this was my big influence, this was someone that guided me, my mentor, Ustazi? Was there someone like that for you, or not?
In the first, every is Egyptian percussionist is my teacher, is my prophet, is Ustazi. Everyone, he teach me something. He mean to teach me, and when I listen to him, he teach me something. So in the beginning, I started to play Latin percussion or percussion Orobi de Banda Gharbi. Yeah, in this time I have a good name in Egypt, in Conga, in Timbal, in Cajon. So when I'm going to play with a famous singer, it's in the same group, one of the famous tabal also. So I play and record with Said artist, with Nigm. I will never play with Mohsen Maradona, because I will never play with Dansa, with Rashari in Egypt. But with Mohsen Maradona, a lot of time, because you know, he like a sing and he composing. A lot of time with him and Hosni Watatak, we're going to jam. He play. I'm in Bongo, in Bonges or in Conga. He jamming with us. I like a lot of Saeed al-artist. I like very, very much the sensitive of Khamis Hankish.
طبعا.
Las golden fingers, Khamis Hankish. I don't know, you know some guy, but he leaves the tabla for a long time and he leaves the music. Khalid Gom'a. Khalid Gom'a, he going to Khalid Gom'a, Shik Shak Shok. The Shik Shak Shok was Hassan Abu Saud. All of this disc, Khalid Gom'a. So all of them, anyone, I learn for everyone. So I listen for someone and repeat the music a lot of time. You know, Egypt, there is a lot of good musicians, no son famous. And the other thing we have to be sure in this. When we're going to play the tabla, you know that the tabla, no total every tabbal is looks like the other. What means that? Tabbal zaffa, no looks like tabbal raqasa, no looks like tabbal Amr Diab, no looks like tabbal al-takht. There is some persons, he can do all of this job very well, but some is other style. When we're going to play with Zaffa, I have to play a very strong marks because I play in the street and I have looks like a 30, 20 percussionist with me in the street. I have to make a very, very strong jamadas keys for them to hear me and we can connect. But if I play with taht or just a singer for 4-5 musician, oud, nay, kawala, I have to play very soft. In style الأولى واحدة ونص. خفيف suave.
Let me give them a little note on what you're saying. So what Bassem is saying is that there are different kind of percussionists. The tabal is the percussionist that plays the tabla or darbuka. Okay, and what he's mentioning is that there are different kinds of tabal. The tabal for the ra'asa, for the dancer, is not necessarily the one that will play well for a singer, and is not necessarily the one who will play well for the taht al-sharki. Many dancers don't know what is taht al-sharki. So taht al-sharki is the original Oriental band, very small, just the essential instruments. And as you were saying, the percussion should be soft, should not have the power and the impact, for instance, tabla needs to have in a show for a dancer. So there are different tones or different kinds of percussionists for different jobs. And I agree with you, very rarely you will find a percussionist who does very well in all of these areas. Usually he will be very good for a dancer, or very good with a singer, or very good in the taht al-sharki. Usually, not in the three of them. You know, I met a few. So as you know, I worked with, there were 3 percussionists I worked with. One, Khamis Hankish, for Afrah. I was very lucky. Before he died, I caught him a little bit, not much, unfortunately, before he passed away. And then I worked mostly with Hosni Watatak. He even traveled with me and Mohsen Maradona, which is Habibi, the love of my life. He's a crazy guy, but we worked so well together. You know, he's a very powerful musician, and he understood me very well. So this is also a question of dancers knowing that sometimes a great percussionist for a dancer is also someone who understands the dancer. He doesn't need to be just a great tabal. No. He needs to be great tabal who understands the dancer he's working with and likes the dancer he's working with. If the tabal does not understand the dancer and does not like her, or vice versa, it's a disaster. So
ما فيش شغل.
A disaster.
ما فيش
خالص. It's a disaster. And you know, I was very lucky to have worked with these three percussionists that each one very different. They were very different from each other, very different. But each one of them, I had full respect for them and they had full respect for me. And this is essential when you work with a tabal, with a percussionist. You actually have to like each other. You have to want to give the best to each other. You know, at the end of my shows, I tell you something, Bassem, and it really makes me, I feel like almost gonna cry. You know, at the end of every show that I did with Bassem Maradona, and if you know him, you know he's crazy. You know he's a madman. He's crazy. Magnoon خالص. He would come to me at the end of the show, kiss my hand, and tell me, Ya Juju, ya Fanana, I am so happy because we share the stage together tonight. Shukran. And anyone who knows him knows he does not do that for anyone, just like that. It's really a matter of trust with each other and respect for the talent of each other that also makes a great tabal. For a dancer specifically, for a dancer. Now, let us go forward, and I would like us to know a little bit about what are your projects nowadays, what are you doing with Egyptian percussion, and what is your biggest dream? What is the thing you would like the most to do in your career in Egyptian percussion? Tell us about that. What's happening right now, and what is the ideal future as you dream it?
So a lot of teachers, as I said, because in each style you like something for each one. For Khamis Henkes, for example, I like him when he's singer. I like a lot Mohsen Maradona was the dancer. Hosni Watatak is just a special case. Hosni Watatak is as a thing. A comic, a show, all of this. So all of this for me, and the tabal for the golden time looks like I think you know him, Saad الصغير. He going always with Naima Akif and Muhammad Fauzi. He looks like Muhammad Fauzi as a face, yeah, and he always play with Naima Akif. And Abdullah Mana is an old record for the dancers. And Mahmoud Hamouda de Umm Kulthum is الأستاذ de todo. He also algunos some guys from Iskandria. You know, Iskandria has a good taste for the tabla also. So for Iskandria and now there is a very good percussionist in Egypt, a very good tabal in Egypt now. A lot. Nigm, Said al-artist, Mohsen Maradona, yeah, a lot of them as the playing. All of them looks like my profi and my teachers, and I respect all of them, all of the percussionists. And also we can't speak about the Egyptian percussion. And we going to and we all bidar. We left to speak for Hassan Anwar and Muhammad Al-Arabi. Yeah, Hassan Anwar and Muhammad Al-Arabi الرق. Hassan Anwar المسيح العربي. Yeah, Hassan Anwar and Muhammad Al-Arabi. We listen a lot of music for Abdul Wahab, who's going the percussion, Hassan Anwar or Muhammad Al-Arabi. Looks like في الكانسيون الحب كله اوترا كانسيون تا 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 تيرا لا لا تيرا لا لا تيرا لا 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 تا 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 تيرا لا لا تيرا لا لا. Esses ritmos que estão haciendo dum ta do ratata ratata la 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 dum ta dum ratata ta ta. It says 12 bars. He make it Muhammad Al-Arabi because the music for Muhammad Abdul Wahab is malfouf. Is that something like this? Entonces Muhammad Al-Arabi habló con Muhammad Al-Arabi y dijo, no quiero tocar el malfuf, quiero hacer así. Muhammad Abdul Wahab dijo, sí, claro. For sure, we can go do it. Entonces, so no malfuf. He going to make the rhythm in the all of the time, 12. And a lot of things looks like this was Muhammad Al-Arabi, Hassan Anwar. All of us study with them for all of the song we saw. It was Abdul Halim, was Kulthum. It's very high. Muhammad Al-Arabi, Hassan Anwar. You know, is much important in the Egyptian orchestra. In El Taht, he's the director of the orchestra, Nuzul Tabbal. So all of them, I like all of the Egyptian percussion. I like the music. I like all of the percussionists in all over the world. It's my project now. I'm here in Ecuador. I started to do something like for idea for the Egyptian folklore. I make here in Ecuador a Zaffa Masri, but with the Egyptian Ecuadorian guys. He's going to sing and play our rhythm in the same style, looks like El Zaffa. I'm planning to go to Egypt the next month in February. I will be in Egypt to start to make other studio. They start with Joana in his classes. A fondor more and more for the Egyptian culture. I'd like to present the culture, the Egyptian culture. I'm in good form, but for everyone, he looks like this culture. Really is my dream. I hope God help me to do it well.
Inshallah. I have one last question, and it's just my curiosity. And this is how we're gonna close our interview. As you know, I am a big fan of Kulthum. I already told you that. I am always curious to know what is the favorite song from Kulthum from all my guests. If I know my guest is an Egyptian musician or dancer or someone who knows Kulthum well, I always like to know what is your favorite song of Kulthum and why. This is just a personal curiosity. I always need to know this. So tell me. I know it's hard. I know
one of them. No, I can say just one, but one of them, الحب كله. One of them, غدا ألقاك. الحب كله, because Kulthum in the beginning, he start with Zarafat, 13 bars. Dum ratatata dum taratatata ta taratata dum dum ta taratata dum taratatata. I feel here a lot of music in the same time with the Zarafat. Zarafat I feel in the first flamenco. Un, dos, tres, and then I feel somebody or Ciftitelli. Dum dum ta taratata. I feel la mezcla hermosa. A mix, very beautiful mix between the Egyptian and or the Oriental and the Occidental, without melody, just integrar or the intro is this is rhythm. And then عمر خورشيد haciendo تقاسيم para Kulthum, nos Pink Floyd. Guitarra, and then in the song a lot of percussion, a lot of is hermos, is very, I like it so much. For عبد الحليم قارئة الفنجان.
مش كده؟ I love قارئة الفنجان كمان. It's really really nice.
Guarda, la canción hermosa في يوم وليلة.
حلوة
الانترودكشن دي في يوم وليله.
طبعا of course.
Look, this song, this composing, Muhammad Abdul Wahab, Bali Hamdi, for every percussionist, wow, you are high in the sky. A lot of rhythm, a lot of change. What do you need, Mass? What do you need more?
طبعا. Very nice, Bassem. Thank you for this interview. Thank you. I will not even try to tell you what is my favorite Kulthum song because I would not live here. You know, I am.
What is the favorite for Kulthum?
No, it's like you. It's very hard to say one. I absolutely adore Fakaroni. Fakaroni زي وانا.
لا 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 لا.
I love. You know. It's hard to say just one. You know, it's really hard to say just one when it comes to Kulthum. Really hard. Thank you.
You know, in the same song, you have a very parties you like it. In the same song. Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you for a lot. Thank you for everyone. شكرا كتير كتير كتير. أنا بحبكم كلكم وبحب المزيكا والرقص قوي قوي قوي.
We know. We will see each other soon, Bassem. Thank you so much once more. By the way, we will be doing a course together very soon at Joana Saahirah's Online Dance School. If you want to know more about the course, please check all the information in the description box below this video. You're going to find the link to the information of our course, and we will see each other soon. We will play and dance and learn very soon, inshallah. شكرا يا أستاذ باسم مرة تانية.
شكرا أنت يا أستاذة يا جميلة، ربنا يخليكي. شكرا كتير.
You are welcome. مع السلامة.
سلام.